Church of Birmingham, whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are today, however you feel today, you are welcome here. For our ritual later in the service, for those of you online, please prepare a flame of some kind, as well as a piece of paper and a pen. For those of you in person, you should have received a small piece of flash paper with your order of service. If you did not receive one, please raise your hand and our ushers will bring you one. To all who are here this morning, welcome home.
Good morning. We appreciate your attention to this morning's announcements. You will find the announcements in your order of service, or if you're watching on YouTube, they will be on the slides. Today, following the service, we have our congregational meeting. This is where we elect our slate of officials, review our safety protocols, and provide an update on our discussions with the UU Church of Tuscaloosa and how that will affect our church budget, operations, etc. If you are a member of our church, you are invited to stay afterwards for this important time of living out our church's democracy. Per our procedures, we will ask that everyone leave the sanctuary after service and then check back in for the meeting. And if you're watching online and you want to participate, our tech folks are going to be sharing the link in the chat for our church members. This is a little note from Mayor Woodfin reminding everybody that the World Games are coming up. The dates are July 7th through 17th. This is a nearly Olympic event where folks from all over the world will be coming to beautiful Birmingham to visit us and participate in sporting events that you really can't see anywhere else. So if you are interested in attending, that website is twg2022.com. I also want to do an impromptu announcement just to celebrate as Pride Month closes out. We had so many terrific Pride events that our church put on over the last month. We had our hosting of the Interfaith Pride service in early June. We had a beautiful float in the parade. We had so many people that donated supplies and money to help build our float. We had so many people that walked. It was really just a beautiful coming together of our community. So if you were involved at all in Pride planning, walking in the float, or in the parade, anything like that, please stand up so that we can thank you with a round of applause. Thank you guys for everything that you did. The prelude prepares us for worship. Please rise in body or spirit for the lighting of our chalice. When we light our chalice, everyone focuses on the flame. Yet it is the paraffin of the candle, the cotton of the wick, the potassium chlorate and sulfur of the match, and the oxygen in the air around us that makes that flame possible. As leaders and congregations, we are not called to be a lone beacon on a hill. Rather, we are meant to work together so that we might together shine. In the spirit of inclusivity and welcome, please take just a few moments to greet the people around you, especially if you have not met them before. Please be seated for the opening words. We bless this space and each other with our intention for connection, as evident by our lengthy meet and greets. May this truly be a sanctuary that radiates with the warmth of relationships. May it be a place that nurtures and sustains our human kinship, offering shelter and comfort, and creating bonds of affection and of care. May it provide opportunities for collaboration and interfaith work that does not end at the walls, but reaches out into our larger community and our world. May we be woven ever more artfully and lovingly into the interconnected web of life of which all of us are a part. We bless this sanctuary as a place of love and peace.
At this time, we want to celebrate our outgoing leaders. So I'd like to invite the members of the board of this past year, all of you, even the renewing ones, to come up to the front, please. And if you will please bring the litany in your order of service, this little piece of paper. We can share if not. These folks represent some of our board members. Not all of our board members could be here today, but we want to celebrate you and honor you, especially those who are leaving. I'd just like to take a moment to honor all of our outgoing leaders, even those not on the board. So if you were on a committee at some point during the pandemic and you had to step down and move on to other things, you are also an outgoing leader. So would you please stand as well so that we can recognize you? Thank you all. Thank you for your important work. So, outgoing board members, today we mark the turning of a season. We mark it with the election of new leaders after this service today. And we want to celebrate our outgoing leaders. There is a cycle of life. There is a beginning, a middle, and an end. This is true of life and true of committees and true of church leadership positions. So we want to honor this today with our shared litany. Please join me in the litany in your order of service. You, dear leaders, have served us well, and several of you are leaving leadership positions that you held to guide us through this pandemic. You have held steady for so long, and now you are handing over the reins that you have so carefully held and tended. And several of you are at the end of your board terms. You have been thoughtful leaders and stewards of this congregation. You have attended countless meetings, written countless emails, recruited dozens of volunteers, and learned new tools like Zoom to facilitate church business. Amen for Zoom. You have brought a spirit of dedication, your love, and a deep abiding faith in the growing, evolving spiritual community that is this community. By your service, you have cared for our building, our budget, and the safety of our community. You have helped us devote ourselves to religious learning for all ages, embrace human diversity by welcoming individuals and families of all kinds, and join with the larger community to promote love, justice, and service to society. And in the next week or so, you are ending these commitments that you have held with such care, much celebration in order. Each ending is also a beginning, the beginning of a new role, perhaps the beginning of a time that you can simply be here in worship and community, beginning a time of renewal. We trust that you will find the right way to nurture your spirit and serve this community. Outgoing leaders, please join in. You too have opportunities for endings and beginnings. May this litany serve as a reminder that we all have the ability and obligation to say yes to service in this community, and also to say yes after stepping down after a time, even if it seems there is no one else to take your place. May each of you here accept an invitation to say yes to a new opportunity of service, yes to an opportunity to nurture your spirit, and perhaps yes to an ending of your own. We trust that you will find the right way to nurture your spirit and serve this community. For this we thank you. And before we go, and on Tony Bell, in celebration of your gifts, time, and service, we honor you today with this symbol of our appreciation for the encouragement, the leadership, the ways you have challenged us and made us a better congregation. We celebrate you today and every day and wish you and Tan the very best in all your endeavors. Thank you to all of our outgoing leaders. You may be seated.
Me again. My name is Kate Staub, and I am a member of the board. Our church is supported by those who call our church home and by those who support the efforts of our church to change our world for the better. If this is your first time with us today, please feel free to just pass the plate when it comes around. You are our guests, and we're really just glad that you're here. We share our cash plate every Sunday with organizations whose work reflects UU values to care for marginalized people, advocate for real and systemic change, defend our environment, and promote justice and equity for everyone. Our Share the Plate recipient this month is Greater Birmingham Ministries. GBM was founded in 1969 in response to urgent human, civil rights, and justice issues in the Greater Birmingham area. It is a multi-faith, multi-racial organization that provides emergency services for people in need. It engages the poor and the non-poor in systemic change efforts to build a strong and engaged community that pursues a more just society for all people. Greater Birmingham Ministries serves people, builds communities, and pursues justice. In addition to serving the community with basic human needs, current pressing issues that the Greater Birmingham Ministries are facing include protecting voter rights and pursuing democratic ideals in Alabama. Your generous contributions are encouraged. Please also join the GBM newsletter online if you want to see how your donations are at work with that organization. You can donate by placing your offering in the plate or by using PayPal, Venmo, or Zelle. Our Venmo account is at UUCBHAM. Our Zelle account is the office email, which is office@uucbham.org. And just please designate whether your offering is for the church or for our Serve the Plate or Share the Plate recipient, Greater Birmingham Ministries. Thank you for your generous support of our church and our Share the Plate recipient. May we give in love and in hope.
Now is that time in our community when we share what we carry with us this day, joy or sorrow. And today we are going to join our hearts together a little bit differently. For those of you online, if you have not already, please prepare a safe flame. Flip, I'm looking at you. I was reading the chat. And have some paper and pen handy. Today we celebrate that Pam and John Powell are recovering from COVID. That's what they wanted me to say. Think of them. We also celebrate having our internet and phones back up. It has been a long haul. And we're so glad to be connected to our folks online again. Sarah Moody is joining us from Chile. And we have, Jack in New York and folks all over joining us this morning. We celebrate knowing that we are not alone, knowing that other Unitarian Universalists across this country are with us, lifting us up, knowing that across the pond, our friends in Sweden and France and many other democracies mourn with us this morning. We are not alone. Today we lift up all of those affected by the Supreme Court decisions this week, all those who feel pressured to have surgeries, all those who feel that their bodies are property of the state, and all those who would feel trapped and scared with an unplanned pregnancy. We lift up all of you. Please join me in this ritual in honor of the summer solstice and all that we carry with us this year. Please take out your flash paper and hold it in your hands. Take a deep breath. Inhale. Exhale. Every week, we invite you to come into this space as you are. Whether you are angry or sad or disheartened or recovering from a medical procedure that you're about to schedule, every week we invite you to come as you are again and again. Alongside our pagan folks, today we honor Litha, the summer solstice, a tradition when the fires of summer are lit to honor the longest day. Anyone else feel like Friday was the longest day? Whatever you are feeling right now and have been feeling the last few days, call that to mind. What are you holding on to? What feeling has been dominating your life lately in a way that has negatively impacted your quality of life? Where have you taken on the anxiousness, the fear, the anger of the collective? Write that down on your flash paper. Whatever it is that is consuming you, burdening you, weighing you down, write that down. Grant, when you are ready to light our flame. Continue to process, continue to write down. There are pens at the back if you need them. A lot of your neighbors have them as well. We light this cauldron which contains the purifying and cleansing fire. Our feelings are justified, whatever your feelings are right now, and it is okay to have them. And also, we cannot allow our feelings to consume us. We cannot allow them to strip us of our humanity and our self-worth. We cannot allow our anger, our sadness, our fear, our despair to be swallowed down and suppressed to live in our bones and wreak havoc on our bodies. Our bodies belong to us. Let the powerful flames of Litha cleanse your heart of this burden, not for it to disappear, but to take the edge off, to eliminate the fear and despair so that you can process and act, channeling your feelings into action and love and joy. As you are ready, please come forward, carefully drop your note into the fires of summer, and remember, we share in this ritual together because we are not alone. If you wish to drop a stone while you're up here, you may do that as well. Please come forward. never expected to see so much joy during that ritual. And I hope it helped you lighten your heart a little bit as it did mine. As we watch this fire burn down throughout the service, may our hearts release our burdens, and may we feel the comfort of being in community. Amen, and blessed be.
Good morning. Take this off for just a second. So, I have a story to share this morning. If you would like to come forward, you can. But you can also participate from your seats because I need everyone's help with this one. So, it's up to you all. If you want to come forward, you can. If not, you can stay in your seats because I need everyone's. I'm looking at all of you that are staying in your seats. I'm going to need your help. Perfect. Come on, Leah. Come, take a seat right here. We're not going to get too close to the fire. It's a little warm on my backside, just a heads up. I'm like, why did I wear something so flowy? I am a little pale. I guess I got a little tan today. So today we have a very special item in a very special box. You all haven't seen this box before. Well, at least with me. This is my mystery box or my wonder box. And sometimes I'm going to bring it up here with me to share a story because it'll have something in it. So, anybody want to guess what's in it today? It's a car. Maybe. I heard rocks. It's in our box. You're right. So anybody else? Any grown-ups want to give me a good guess? It's a book. That's a very good guess, Ginger. A pencil? No. Well, I'm going to show you. What do you think's in the box? You want to shake it? What do you think's in there? I don't know. You want to see? You want to see, Ari? Okay. Surprise! It's not a pencil. It's not a book. It's not a car. It's not a box. What is it? It's an umbrella. It's an umbrella. Yes. So, what do you use an umbrella for? For rain, and the sun. You can use it for the sun too. So that helps you stay dry, right? Sometimes? Perfect. Has anyone ever gotten stuck in the rain? Yeah. Have you ever been stuck in the rain because you wanted to be? That's a little different. So, but sometimes we get stuck in the rain. They'll tell you, Ari, they'll say hello in a little bit when we go outside and play. Okay? And then after the story, we'll go outside. Perfect. You don't want, well, now I have a challenge. Well, how about I finish my story and then we'll have a discussion. I feel like I'm being derailed. It's okay, I'm used to it. I have teenagers. But what would happen if I got stuck in the rain and I forgot my umbrella? I get all wet. So that would be bad. Well, I have a story to you today, but I need two important parts to help me with. Whenever I say clap, what do you think you should do? Clap. Perfect. But whenever I say the word sanctuary, can you guys say sanctuary? Sanctuary, perfect. I need you to say it quietly. So let's try it. Sanctuary. Perfect. Oh, this is the best congregation ever. So, once upon a time, there was a little girl who, just like Ari, was also caught outside in the rain. Caught outside. Well, you don't have your umbrella yet. Hold on. I've got some posters on it. I gotta give it to you. Hold on. Oh, okay. Sorry. She got caught outside in the rain. Uh-oh. She's in the rain. Oh no. But she ran inside to the nearest store to wait out the rain. As soon as she closed the door, a bright flash and a loud clap of thunder followed. Good job. This little girl knew that she would be stuck in that store for quite a while, so she started to look around at some of the different items in the store, and then the shopkeeper appeared. The shopkeeper was the oldest woman the little girl had ever seen.
Oh no,
Age. Her hair was white as snow and her face was all wrinkly. The little girl was brave enough to admit that she was a little scared. Okay. Young woman, said the shopkeep, can I help you with something? And the little girl pointed outside, too afraid to ask. Oh, said the shopkeep, did you run in here to escape from the rain? Yes. Well, you can wait here in my little sanctuary. We've got a nice sturdy roof over our heads, and it will keep you safe and dry. The little girl appreciated the offer, but she really needed to get back outside and continue on her way. The old shopkeep could tell that the little girl was hesitating. Oh, continued the shopkeep, you could head back outside with this. And the old shopkeep went behind the counter, and what do you think she pulled out? An umbrella. There you go. Kind of jumped the gun on that one a little bit, but that's fine. That's right, it's an umbrella. Take this umbrella, said the shopkeep. I don't know why it's raining, but I do know that you can keep dry under this portable sanctuary. The little girl beamed, but then she stopped in her tracks. But I don't have any money, said the little girl. And the old shopkeep waved her off. No worries, little girl. Just be sure to offer the umbrella to someone else when they need it. The little girl accepted the umbrella and headed back outside. The little girl was happy and dry. She started skipping down the street and was perfectly happy when she saw a man wearing a suit or a floral print shirt and a neon green floral lei, trying to keep dry. And then she heard another loud clap, and the newspaper he was holding over his head began to fall apart under the heavy rain. She skipped over to the man in the suit and held the umbrella up as high as she could. Thank you, said the man. Remembering the words from the old shopkeep, the little girl told the man, I don't know why it's raining, but I do know you can keep dry with me under this portable sanctuary. The man smiled in relief. He had been having a really bad day. See, he was wearing his fancy shirt and floral lei because he was on his way to a job interview. He had been without work for a long, long time, and he was ready for a new job. He had started to walk to the interview because he didn't have a car, and when it started to rain, he cursed his luck. He would show up to this really important job interview soaked, and he knew it would make a really bad first impression. The little girl spotted her family in the store across the street. Here, take the umbrella with you. I see my family right over there. Oh, I couldn't take the umbrella, said the man, feeling guilty. No, just take it. Just be sure to offer the umbrella to someone else when they need it. The little girl put the umbrella into his hand and then ran off to meet her family. The man could not believe how nice the little girl was. He knew he had to hurry, though, because it was almost time for his very important interview. Another clap of thunder caused him to start running. You don't have to run, Gil. I mean, you can if you want to. Well, I can tell you that the man got the job he was interviewing for, and soon enough, he was able to afford to buy a few umbrellas of his own. And whenever it would rain, he would bring not only his umbrella that the little girl had given him, he would bring 2 more small umbrellas and give them away to people when they were stuck outside in the rain. All right, come here. Help me with this part. Okay. He would say, I don't know why it's raining, but I do know what you can do to keep dry under this portable sanctuary. And soon, everyone in town had an umbrella that they would take with them. And the townspeople, when they passed by someone without an umbrella, they would give up their own umbrella and pass on the words, not now known by the entire town. I don't know why it's raining, but I do know you can keep dry under this portable sanctuary. The end. Would you carry my umbrella downstairs for me? Thank you. Oh, wait, hold on. It's about to do something crazy. Carry this one for me, Ari. Ari, come here. So now, I need one more help from the grown-ups outside in the sanctuary. Could you hum us all downstairs, please?
Many years ago, as our liberal religious tradition was in formation, it was established that ministers who serve in our tradition would carry a privilege called the freedom of the pulpit. This freedom is the commitment that neither denomination, nor ministers' association, nor congregation, nor community will prevent a minister in our tradition from speaking their truth in every setting. So hypothetically, although unfortunately much different in practice, I am allowed to say whatever I want from this pulpit. But don't worry, you live under the privilege of freedom of the pew. This is our tradition's guarantee that the person in the pew, whether member, friend, or visitor, will never be required to agree or profess agreement with the minister. We do not have a required set of beliefs. You are not required to believe as I do, and yet we are all connected in this community to accept and love and do ministry together, like-hearted, even if not like-minded. And yet, as I have been warned, there are some subjects that are just too delicate, too divisive, and too polarizing in our community. The freedom of the pulpit exists just for these conversations. These conversations that make us a bit uncomfortable, that maybe aren't relevant to us directly, or maybe that we outright disagree with. There are many places that you could be in Birmingham this morning that will never challenge you or ever make you uncomfortable. We are here for both the comfortable and the uncomfortable, to sit in it, to stew in it, to be inspired to action and dialogue. That is why we are here. Now, confession, last week, I was very uncomfortable crying in front of you during the service. My Enneagram type number 5, we don't like to show emotions, which is why we type 5s are represented in literature by Jane Eyre, Sherlock Holmes, and Severus Snape. But I want you to feel honored because my tears last week showed you how much I care about you. That it was that overwhelming, that the strength of our connection is that strong that I was willing to be vulnerable with you. But what I really want to know is, how are you feeling this morning? I come to you this week at a much different space. Still grateful that we are here together, but also so angry and sad and disappointed, but mainly angry. On Wednesday, I was angry that after countless reports of the abuse of Border Patrol agents on children, on migrants, on others, the Supreme Court removed the right of people to sue the Border Patrol for these infractions. On Thursday, I was angry that after Buffalo and Uvalde and our own local tragedy at St. Stephen's and the countless gun violence tragedies before this, the Supreme Court ruled that all Americans deserve to carry their handgun wherever they wish, even as Congress was passing laws to limit gun access. Unfortunately, none of these pieces of legislation would have mattered for the tragedy that happened at St. Stephen's. Although I'm so grateful to all of the leaders who met with me yesterday morning, our ushers, our greeters, our worship associates, to talk about safety for our own congregation. And on Friday, I was angry that just as expected, something I have been expecting since 2016, the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. In the 1970s, access to abortion was supported by doctors and nurses and so many others because our medical community was distressed that so many women were dying from back alley abortions and herbal tinctures. I'm angry that it isn't a medical concern that has driven back access to abortion rights, but a religious one. A religious concern held by a slowly dying, irrelevant religious movement that has tried and in many ways succeeded at making their religious beliefs the law of the land. We as Unitarian Universalists believe that religious freedom is vital to our democracy. It is so vital that it is the reason that our theological forebears came to this country with the hope of finding a place to live and be safe and make their own rules. It is our theological forebears, flawed as they were, that's a whole nother conversation, but they established that our government would not establish a national religion. However, our Supreme Court has been very clear this week that they have established a national religion. The reversal of Roe v. Wade came during our national denominational meeting called General Assembly. Those of us who have had our ear to the ground already knew what was coming, and we had already prepared a statement of immediate witness. As of this morning, access to abortion is officially a religious freedom for Unitarian Universalists. For those of you who still maintain a viable uterus, use that information as you will. Our UUA president, Reverend Susan Frederick Gray, prayed this prayer on the morning that the news about Roe broke. She said, "Spirit of life, hear our prayer, our anguish, our cries for the people across this country, for everyone who faces the possibility of pregnancy. We pray especially for those who we know will be most harmed by this decision. People of color, young people, poor and working class folks, folks in rural areas, everyone who already experiences the least access to comprehensive, equitable health care, including reproductive care and including the right to an abortion. May we be held this day rooted in faith that is unapologetic in our support of an access to an abortion for all who need it or want it. Give us strength for this day and for all the days ahead, because it is going to be a years-long struggle to win back the right to an abortion, to win back the right to bodily autonomy, to win back gender equality, and we know that we weren't at gender equality even yet. But it's going to be a generational struggle rooted in faith, strength, collaboration, and courage that knit us together in solidarity that leaves no one behind. Not women, not trans people, not people of color, not the incarcerated, not migrants. As UUs, we remain committed, not in spite of our religious beliefs, but because of our religious beliefs. We are committed to a framework of reproductive justice defined by Black women in the 80s and 90s, which affirms the right for every human to have children or to not have children or to parent the children one has in healthy environments, to safeguard bodily autonomy, and to express one's sexuality freely. Blessed be. In a Zoom call with the White House this weekend, we were assured that abortion pills will continue to be shipped. Please note that as well. Yes, thank you. And folks who need to travel to other states will be protected for getting the health care they need. We have been affirmed that by Attorney General Merrick Garland. White House staffers were also very aware of the inequities faced in this situation, from economic inequalities to limits of travel for many people. And how ironic is it that this reversal comes under a Catholic president, a practicing Catholic president who understands that his theological beliefs should not be the law of the land. And the greater problem with this Roe reversal, if it wasn't bad enough, for those of us without uteruses, is that it is a constitutional principle that affects so much else. It has the potential to affect same-sex marriage, access to birth control, access to trans health care, and other life-giving laws. As a former government teacher, I do not personally think they will outlaw interracial marriage, which would really piss me off. But if they do, I vote that Clarence and Jenny have to go first. I'm just saying. I mean, their union has so negatively impacted our democracy in ways that I don't even think we know. And a mini civics lesson from the former government teacher, because there's a lot of misinformation going out there. The Supreme Court is the law of the land. The only way out of this is a constitutional amendment. A constitutional amendment that would protect access to abortion, supported by the overwhelming majority of people in this country, that would take this egregious misstep and overstep out of the court and back into the hands of the people. If we want to reverse this issue, we have to be as single-minded as conservatives have been for 50 years, only voting for reproductive justice candidates who can actually win at every level of government. Congress and the president cannot fix this alone. We have to work together. It is the only way out. And frankly, from what I've seen on social media since Friday, I don't know that we liberal folks can be that single-minded. We immediately default into arguing with one another and nitpicking one another and picking one another apart. But I would love to be proven wrong After all, the fate of all of us depend on it. But when I was getting really down about all those arguments I was seeing, I was reminded of all the times that we and our forebears in the liberal religious tradition have come together. We remember the sit-ins and the marches and how we got the Americans with Disabilities Act passed and suffrage for all people, and how we came together even at the American Revolution. And we came together for marriage equality, and we came together for Black Lives Matter. We can do this. We just have to work together. And while we figure this out at a national level, there will be women and trans folks who need this healthcare support right now. It is illegal right now in the state of Alabama. We have already mobilized support with our local organizations. We are creating paths of access that will be more difficult and less anonymous for people who need abortion access. We want to make those paths easier. We will have to work as a village, donating funds to the Yellowhammer Fund, donating our time to accompany folks to their out-of-state procedures, and yes, maybe getting arrested for it. And we have to double down on our need to get progressive candidates elected. We have to do this. Our democracy is not guaranteed. As we saw from the elections out of France this week, the reactionary right, the people who want to take us back decades into the mid-1950s, continue to gain footholds in other parts of the world. The reactionary right continues to hold sway in this country, as we've seen from the hearings of the January 6th Commission and from the behaviors of alt-right elected leadership. Jacinda Ardern, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, spoke to the graduating class of Harvard University on May 26th. She was citing a speech from a fellow woman political leader, Benazir Bhutto, who served as Prime Minister of Pakistan. Yes, Pakistan has had female leadership. Just pointing that out. Prime Minister Ardern said this imperfect but precious way that we organize ourselves, that has been created to give equal voice to the weak and the strong, that is designed to help drive consensus, it is fragile. For years, it feels as though we have assumed that the fragility of democracy was determined by duration, that somehow the strength of your democracy was like a marriage. The longer you've been in it, the more likely it was to stick. But that takes too much for granted. It ignores the fact that the foundation of a strong democracy includes trust in institutions, experts, and government, and that this can be built up over decades and torn down in mere years. It ignores that a strong democracy relies on debate and dialogue, and that even the oldest regimes can seek to control these forums, and the youngest can seek to liberate them. It ignores what happens when, regardless of how long your democracy has been tried and tested, when facts are turned into fiction and fiction turned into fact, you stop debating ideas and you start debating conspiracy. It ignores the reality of what we are now being confronted with every single day. We are people who do not ignore reality. We stay relevant by keeping ourselves open to new truths and updated understandings. We are people who fight for what is right, even if it is not easy or convenient. We are a people who struggle with our individualism and are part of that distrust in institutions, experts, and the government. And we need to examine how that contributes to what's going on locally and nationally. We are people who promote a true and responsible search for truth and meaning, and one that believes that voices and experiences outside our own contain merit and worth. We are people who promote the right of conscience and the use of democratic process within our congregations and in society at large. And we will be doing so again today at our congregational meeting. May we exercise our right and our democratic process to benefit the collective, both in our community and beyond. Vote. Make it count. Our lives and the bodily autonomy of future generations depends on it. You are not alone. May it be so. Amen.
Please rise and body your spirit for the extinguishing of the chalice. The chalice is now extinguished, but its light lives on in the minds and hearts and souls of each of you. Carry this flame with you as you leave this place, and share it with those that you know, with those that you love, and especially with those you have yet to meet.
After the service today is our congregational meeting. We invite all of you to go hang out in the narthex or outside for just a moment while we get set up, but we invite all of our members back in for our annual meeting. Go forth from this place knowing that you are not alone, that you are loved, that you are held in the heart of community, that there are people of all ages and all beliefs who care about your well-being, and we continue to be here for you should you need us. Go in peace. You are loved. Blessed be.
just to clarify, everyone is invited to stay for our congregational meeting. If you are a member, you will need to check in to receive your voting placard and that sort of thing. But everyone is welcome to stay and enjoy the fun and excitement of a congregational meeting. I love them. But there you go.